Welcome to The Orange. This is a weekly news talk podcast where we bring you a little slice of life. The 87th Academy Awards take place this Sunday evening. With so many strong films nominated, I have located the biggest Oscar nut I know to help break down the show. So Alex, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you, Shaq?
Good. I'm here with my friend Alex Butler. Would you call yourself an Oscar nerd?
You could definitely say that for sure. It's been a lot of years that I've been watching the Oscars very religiously and predicting them to a T usually, but don't hold me to that too much.
So, we were talking a little bit before we started filming about what you've been doing all day, so I'd really appreciate it if you elaborated on that a bit.
Well, what I did today, because I did not want to do this unprepared, was I got an old notebook together and I wrote down the nominations and winners for my big five categories. So the Best Picture, Best Actor, Actress, and Best Supporting Actor, Actress since 2000. So my hand is very, very sore. I've also written down the hosts and everything like that, and checking off which ones I've seen, etc., etc. It's been a long day.
So you're essentially going to be my encyclopedia for today.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Okay, so then give me a little bit of background. How did this fascination with film and the Oscars start?
Well, I don't know. I was just talking to my mom, and she said that when I was like very little, I would always kind of write down the names of actors in movies and kind of do a little casting stuff, like to remember the names of all the characters and all the actors, just to kind of get myself into the Hollywood frame of mind. And then I guess how old would I have been? I think 2008 was the year that I started paying attention to the Oscars. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. It's all of the A-listers that I pay attention to. It's all of these really awesome movies that I enjoy watching. Most of the time, the hosts are absolutely hilarious, except for that one year in 2010, I think it was, that we don't like to talk about. That was the Anne Hathaway, James Franco year, I think.
Okay, so then I think there's a lot to cover.
That was 2011, actually.
What we like. Have you seen most of the films that are being nominated this year?
I have seen most of them. I actually watched two of them today in preparation. The only ones I have not yet seen are American Sniper, but I don't know if I'm going to see that based on personal. I don't want to give that movie money.
Mm-hmm.
And also, but I haven't seen Selma or The Theory of Everything either. But
I think you can imagine the plot of Selma without watching it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like it's a mystery what happened.
My friend the other day was telling me how predictable the ending of Selma was, and I just couldn't help but laugh.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, so let's start with, because I'll be honest, you've probably seen more of these films than I have. I've tried to catch up, but I haven't done too well. So we'll go through three topics. Well, I guess we'll cover two things. We'll cover what we think will win and what you personally would like to see win.
Okay.
And what I personally like to see win. So, if we're starting with Best Picture, this year we have American Sniper, Birdman, Boyhood, The Grand Budapest Hotel, The Imitation Game, Selma, The Theory of Everything, and Whiplash. Dang, that's a lot of movies.
It's actually not as many as you'd think.
As usual. What's the limit on those?
In 2011, they introduced a rule that you could have a maximum of 10 movies if the Academy thought that 10 movies deserved to be nominated. But ever since 2011, that was the only year when they had 10 movies nominated. Since then, they've always had 9 movies, and this year they've actually only got 8.
Mm-hmm. So, what was your favorite movie out of these nominations?
My personal favorite, or the one I think is going to win?
Let's start with favorite.
Okay, my personal favorite would have to be a tie between... Oh, I actually don't know. There was a lot of movies I liked this year. The Grand Budapest Hotel was the funniest, in my opinion. Boyhood, I actually just watched earlier today, and I found it very relatable, which I really enjoyed. And Birdman kind of reminded me what it was like to act in the past, because it was a very realistic kind of idea of how crazy people in the film industry are.
I haven't seen Birdman yet, but I can imagine.
It's really good, Zach. You should check it out.
I will. So I have seen Boyhood and the Grand Budapest Hotel. Boyhood I loved it. I think it deserves all the acclaim that it received. But I found that I did not have the attention span to take it all in at once.
Yeah, it was a very long movie. It clocked in at 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Reasonably so. I mean, I was talking to my friend who's a bit of a film snob himself the other day, and he was saying how he thinks Boyhood will win strictly on the merit that the guy spent 12 years putting that film together.
Yeah,
And I was just thinking to myself how upsetting it would be if that film was a total bust.
yeah, I understand. Yeah, no, I understand that would be very, very disappointing. But I don't know. I did like it a lot, but I mean, as far as an Oscar-worthy movie goes, you look at the winners that we've had in the past, and I don't know if Boyhood has what it takes necessarily to be the winner.
So what film do you think does? Because I'm thinking I love the Grand Budapest Hotel. It's definitely in my top 10 movies of the year, but it doesn't feel like the kind of movie that the Academy likes to award a Best
Oh
Picture
no,
to.
no, I'm not. It would not be the Grand Budapest Hotel. If the Grand Budapest Hotel is going to win anything, I would guess it would be cinematography.
Yeah. And I was gonna say because I find that kind of strange because I often find that the films that win best cinematography aren't often the sort of cinematography that they're looking for in the Best Picture.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a very wide spectrum of what they're looking for in each category. But as far as winners of their Best Picture this year, I say it would probably have to go to The Imitation Game.
Oh, I'm so glad you. I'm so glad you said that. You can't see my face right now, but you know how happy that makes me.
Well,
I loved
let's
it.
look at The Imitation Game. Let's see the themes it's got. You've got wartime setting already. That's a good start. You have the Frumious Bandersnatch, whatever his name is,
Benedict
playing.
Cumberbatch.
Yeah, him playing somebody with some sort of autism. Another huge amount of points for the Academy. You've got the invention of computers, something that's very relevant today. So it's got all these themes, and it's done by the Weinstein Company as well, which was responsible for most of the winners that the Oscars have ever picked. Yeah, it's to me, it's an obvious winner as far as the themes go that you usually see in Oscar-winning movies.
Now, by the tone in which you address it, I take it you're not a big Sherlock fan.
No, I can't say I've ever actually watched
You
it.
see, now it's strange because I love that sector of kind of British television, and I like Sherlock. I never really could get into it that much for some reason. I don't know. Sherlock Holmes has just always been one of those characters that I haven't found as fascinating as everyone else has.
Everyone who does it very well. Don't get me wrong, but it's done very often.
Yeah. But watching The Imitation Game, I was so impressed with Benedict Cumberbatch's performance because from time to time, you and I both did some theater in high school. You more so
Yep,
than me, and it's kind of there's kind of an acting bug that never really leaves you alone.
exactly.
But watching that movie, every day I think to myself, oh, I could do this. I could be an actor. But you watch a performance like Benedict Cumberbatch's in that film, and
Yeah,
it is incredible. Like, there's something to be said about an actor who can make every calculated tick and smile and facial expression so natural.
absolutely. Another reason why I had this picked for a winner is, and why actually I've also got Benedict Cumberbatch picked for the Best Actor category. It reminds me a lot of Colin Firth's portrayal of the King of England in The King's Speech. Uh,
I had I actually just a review that I had wrote on Kingsman, the action comedy movie with Colin Firth,
oh yeah,
just
how
went
was
up
it?
this evening, and I was thinking, I bet I just know that Alex is going to bring up The King's Speech.
Well, that's because it's a fabulous movie, Shaq.
Would you say that's your favorite film of all time?
The King's Speech? Probably not. I just think it was because that year that The King's Speech came out was the year that I first decided that I was very interested in the Oscars,
Ah, I
and that
see.
was my first successful Oscar pick. So it has a special place in my
All right. So with that said, I agree. I think The Imitation Game is going to win. If there's anything that could compete with it, I'd say it would be Boyhood.
heart. Absolutely, yeah.
But I don't think any of the other candidates stand much of a chance. How do you feel about Best Director? Is it something you're passionate about, or should we?
I can't say I've really paid much attention to it.
It's so hard because like you have to really compare it to their other works.
The director for Boyhood is nominated, correct?
He is.
Yeah, I would say again, 12 years on.
How could you not, right? That's such a
incredible.
spectacular achievement in its own merit.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think as far as direction goes, I would definitely give it to the director of Boyhood, and leave the Best Picture to The Imitation Game.
So then let's move on to Best Actor. You've already kind of given this one away too.
Yeah.
But let's just mention the others and see what you think. Because I think there was some surprise. I think there's one real surprise that stands out to me this year. So
Is that surprise Steve Carell and Foxcatcher?
Steve Carell and Foxcatcher.
Yeah, I haven't seen that movie yet, but I'm definitely gonna make sure I do see it very soon because
I did have the pleasure. Sorry, yeah, I did have the pleasure of watching it the other day.
Oh, good.
So surprising. Like, what did you think when you saw Steve Carell with an Academy Award nomination in a film like The Foxcatcher?
I have no idea what Foxcatcher is about, but I remember a couple of years ago, I can't even remember what the movie was called, but Steve Carell did more of a serious family man type piece that wasn't necessarily a comedy. I didn't actually watch it, I just saw commercials for it, and I was like, oh yeah, that looks like something that Steve Carell could probably pull off. Because, I mean, he usually does goofy comedies, yes, but he's still a very well-seasoned actor who's kind of been put into a niche over the past decade or so. So, I know, I guess he just got really lucky or got picked for a part that was out of his realm, and I guess he slayed it.
Do you like to see actors who kind of aren't necessarily typecast, but they've kind of been brushed off onto their genre, kind of branching out and crossing genres? Because I'm always excited when I see a comedy legend like Steve Carell receiving critical acclaim for a dramatic role.
Oh, absolutely. It reminds me of when Jim Carrey did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. It's just you take this goofy comedian and put him into a completely different scenario, and he's still incredible.
So yeah, Stephen, you're going with Benedict Cumberbatch. I can't disagree.
Birdman. Have you seen Birdman?
I haven't seen Birdman.
It's very good, and I think it's noteworthy just to say that Michael Keaton's performance was hilarious and spectacular. And
do you think he could steal it? Putting the film aside, pound for pound, how did he stack up with Benedict Cumberbatch in terms of acting?
Pound for pound, well, I mean, Birdman is a bit more of an abstract film, definitely. So it's a little bit hard. It's a little like apples and oranges. But they both had some kind of mental illness that they were dealing with, yeah, I don't know. I still definitely think Benedict Cumberbatch will take it, but I just think Michael Keaton gets my honorary mention in this.
Reasonable. I think I'd go Benedict Cumberbatch and then Steve Carell. Best Actress. We have I'm going to butcher some of these names. So we have Marion Cotillard.
Cotillard. It's a French name, so I can't pronounce it very well either.
Cotillard.
Something like that, yeah.
For 2 Days, One Night. You have Felicity Jones in Theory of Everything, Juliana Moore, Still Alice, Rosamund Pike, Gone Girl, and Reese Witherspoon for Wild. Right off the bat, what I find really strange is how, for Best Actor, they went hand in hand with Best Picture.
But then
Best Actress was a completely different group of films.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. With the exception of The Theory of Everything.
Is that how it works every year, more often than not?
Usually there's at least one or two categories that are just completely, like, where did these people come from? And I actually found that a lot of the Best Actress winners have been movies that were separate of the Best Pictures. Mm-hmm. Like last year. Last year had a huge Oscar pool of movies that were all phenomenal, and all of the winners came from that pool, like 12 Years a Slave, Dallas Buyers Club, basically took house. But the Best Actress went to Cate Blanchett for Blue Jasmine, which was just some totally random.
So what are your thoughts on this year? Who's going to take it?
I'll be honest, I have seen none of the movies that yet that the Best Actress one would go in, but just based off of my Oscar knowledge, Julianne Moore is always a solid contender for Oscars for nominations, and I've heard very good things about Gone Girl. And Rosamund Pike had a very excellent performance that I've heard. I still haven't seen it though, so I would put it between Julianne Moore and Rosamund Pike.
I'll give it to Reese Witherspoon just because her name has always made me giggle a bit.
Fair enough.
It's like, what a strange name. I wonder if that's her birth name or if she kind of Hollywooded it up.
Do you want me to look that up for you? I can do it.
You're welcome to. So we have Best Supporting Actor and Best Supporting Actress. Best Supporting Actor, you have Robert Duvall for The Judge, Ethan Hawke for Boyhood, Edward Norton for Birdman. Oh, was Edward Norton in Birdman?
He is, and his performance in Birdman was amazing.
Oh, well, there
I love it.
Mark Ruffalo in Foxcatcher, which would be mine, and J.K. Simmons in Whiplash.
This is a tough category because I have seen a few of these movies, and every single one of these guys, like Best Supporting Actor, is always such a tough call because they're always such incredible pieces. Sorry, word stutters. Like Edward Norton in Birdman, he was hilarious. He was probably one of the best people in that movie for me. Like everything he said and everything he did, it just got me. It was awesome. And I was actually just about halfway through watching Whiplash when we started this. And J.K. Simmons plays a very, very aggressive and intense band director, which is interesting. It was a very good and very dramatic performance. But I don't know how it'll stack up. And Ethan Hawke in Boyhood, I mean, he was awesome. Like,
Ethan Hawke was very impressive.
Yeah, he was the dad, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Ethan Hawke might win, I think.
I think he will. I think so too.
I'd like to see Mark. I just love everything Mark Ruffalo does.
Yeah.
Best Mark Ruffalo story. He was doing some sort of interview and he was talking about how he was playing this theater role, and in one scene, his character and his co-star are supposed to be smoking a joint in the corner of the stage.
Mm-hmm.
And they had, this electronic joint that every time you'd inhale, it would light up, and then a little bit of vapor or smoke would come out, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And on the night that critics were coming to review the film, the theater performance, someone had switched the electric joint for a real joint.
Oh, that sounds like awesome.
And you're on stage, you're in theater, so you're kind of overacting everything, right? You're really emphasizing.
Oh yeah.
And so this girl, he has the joint, he passes it to the girl, and she just takes a huge puff from this joint. And he does the same, and they realize it's real, but they can't stop smoking it. And, so he goes to the rest of the show completely stoned, and according to Mark Ruffalo, he received some of the best reviews of his life.
That's incredible. I love hearing stories like that. Also, update, Reese Witherspoon's full name is Laura Jean Reese Witherspoon. So Reese is one of her middle names.
Okay, but it's not her. Okay, that's slightly better.
Well, yeah, because Laura Witherspoon doesn't have the same ring to it.
It really doesn't.
No.
I wonder from time to time if actors had sillier names, if they would be as famous as they were. Well, Benedict Cumberbatch did it, so...
Like Bandersnatch Crinkle Chips. What is going on?
So, okay, let's go with our last category, and then we'll kind of wind down the rest. Best Supporting Actress. Do you have any ideas?
Oh.
You have Patricia Arquette for Boyhood, Laura Dern for Wild, Keira Knightley for The Imitation Game, Emma Stone for Birdman, and Meryl Streep. Emma Stone was... Man, I really need to watch this movie.
It's fabulous. It's just a great movie.
Can you elaborate on it a bit? What is it?
Okay, so it's about Michael Keaton, who's a washed-out kind of actor who played who got lucked out and got a really big action role back in his day, like back in his prime. And he's trying to get his, Zach Galifianakis is there too.
Yes.
I know. So he's trying to, he writes a version of this play based off a book. And Zach Galifianakis is producer and best friend, so they're just starting to make this film. And but he's kind of dealing with the psychological battle between it's kind of a schizophrenic dual personality type thing, because he's got Birdman, which is the character he played back in the day, talking to him and telling him that, basically being the voice in his head. And he's dealing with that while he's trying to direct and act and play, which is very, very presumptuous for someone who is not a seasoned theater actor. And it kind of goes through a struggle, and Edward Norton is one of the actors in this play, and he's like a crazy method actor. There's one scene that I think is just absolutely hilarious. There's a scene in their play where Edward Norton and this other girl character start off under bed sheets, and they're supposed to be kind of fooling around. But then Michael Keaton's character bursts in and gives this monologue. But during the first run-through, while they're under the sheets, Edward Norton's just like, "Do you want to have sex? I got a hard on. Let's just do it. Like, come on, it'll be awesome. It'll get us into the role. It'll be great." And I was like, "Oh my god, like what? This is awesome." It was just so larger than life, and it was really funny.
Well, as you were describing the movie, I remember seeing a trailer for it when it was first announced.
Yeah.
I should really see it. So, sorry, because we're running out of time here. Best supporting actress.
Oh, yeah, this is a tough one. Emma Stone had a really good performance in Birdman, but it wasn't a very long part, and it wasn't large. It wasn't a huge performance. It was just kind of her doing her thing. And it was a good acting job, but nothing super out of the ordinary. Boyhood, Patricia Arquette, I believe that's the mother.
I think so.
Yeah, it's got to be. She was great. In case you were watching that movie and was like, "Man, that chick is really familiar," she's in Hold. She was kissing Kate Barlow in Hold. If you remember that movie. Meryl Streep is an Oscar favorite, but Into the Woods is a goofy kids movie. I haven't seen it, but I assume it's a goofy kids movie. So, I mean, if she didn't win for August Osage County, which is a very, very important drama that's been around on stage forever, then I doubt she's going to get it with a goofy movie like this. I haven't seen Wild, and Keira Knightley in The Imitation Game was pretty good. I'd have to say Patricia Arquette for Boyhood.
Yeah, I don't think Keira Knightley is going to win. However, with that said, she's never been my favorite actor, and I thought she did a great job.
She did do a really good job, for sure.
But you know what? I haven't seen a lot of these movies other than Boyhood, and I've been voting for Boyhood a lot, so I'm gonna trust you and go with.
Yeah, she's good. But yeah, she was in Hold. I was watching, I was like, "Man, she's familiar." And then I actually watched Hold last week because I was.
So, on our way out, I'm going to end with two gripes here. First and foremost, the best animated feature film.
I actually don't know what's nominated.
It's Big Hero 6, The Box Trolls, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Song of the Sea, and The Tale of Princess Kaguya.
Is that last one directed by Miyazaki, or does it have anything to do with Studio Ghibli, is my first question.
It says Takahata and Nishimura.
Okay, I don't know who that is. My vote would be for Big Hero 6. Big Hero 6 has been one of my favorite movies of the year, like, just on its own merits. It's great.
You see, I really enjoyed Big Hero 6. I also loved How to Train Your Dragon 2. With that said,
a sequel winning an Oscar, really?
No, I don't think it will win an Oscar. Yeah. I think Big Hero 6 is more deserving of that.
Yeah. And
with that said, what I'm really upset about is that The Book of Life wasn't nominated because.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm bothered about that as well.
Yeah, I had the privilege of getting an advanced screening of that movie. Fell in love with it. Oh
yeah, it's absolutely wonderful. The problem is that Disney and the Academy have kind of been a
bit of a monopoly.
Yeah, they've been definitely working together for a long time. My only relief in all of this is the fact that as long as the Academy is going to be picking something with Disney, I'm just glad they picked Big Hero 6 instead of Frozen.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Wait, Frozen came out last year. Oh my god.
Also valid.
Yeah, still valid.
And my second gripe, I haven't seen Selma, but I've been listening to Glory by John Legend and Common for hours at a time.
Yeah.
And I will be beyond disappointed if it doesn't win a Oscar.
Oh,
Especially over Everything is Awesome from the Lego movie.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you've heard Glory.
I also have a couple gripes if we want to do that.
Give me a couple.
Okay.
It's Oscar week. We can go over.
Wonderful. Okay. So first things first, 2 grievances about Selma. The fact that it didn't get nominated for Best Direction or Best Picture, or sorry, not Best Picture, Best Actor in a leading role, seems a little ridiculous to me, especially since it is the only movie like with black people in it, pretty much. Which is it's just a little on the racist side, especially since last year 12 Years a Slave kind of cleaned house.
Oh goodness. Wait, sorry, have you seen Selma?
I have not seen Selma, but I've seen a lot of trailers, and he looks like he's doing a pretty dang good job of being Martin Luther King Jr.
I've heard. You know what's strange? According to my friend, Oprah Winfrey is hardly in that movie.
I don't really give a hoot. I mean, she's just...
I don't give a hoot, but like you saw a lot of her in the trailer.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Wait, do you have any other gripes? Or is it just Selma related?
I have one more. If you want to go to the movies and be very, very sad, go see Cake. It's absolutely amazingly well done, and the fact that Jennifer Aniston did not get a Best Actress in a leading role nomination for Cake is absolutely insane. That's probably one of the best female performances I've seen in years, let alone just this year. And it really shows, like, it's Jennifer Aniston playing a woman with chronic pain and dabbling with suicide thoughts. And it's so powerful and so moving. And I don't know how she didn't make it in, like, at all.
Well, what better way to end off than with a question? Oh, are you excited for Neil Patrick Harris?
Absolutely.
Good old NPH.
Oh, he's wonderful. There's going to be musical numbers.
Left and right.
Oh, it's going to be so exciting.
Though I won't lie, I kind of fell in love with Ellen DeGeneres after she hosted last year.
Oh, yeah. If I had it my way, she'd host it every single year. Like, her and Billy Crystal should just really go back and forth.
The selfie with the pizza guy. So great.
Sorry?
The when she brought the pizza guy out and then took selfies with...
Yeah, that was
so much fun. I love seeing it when they kind of break down the formalities a bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
And act like regular people.
Yeah. I have every confidence in Neil Patrick Harris.
He's brilliant. Every time he does anything, he's brilliant.
Yeah, he's great. Did you see him in American Horror Story? He was great.
I did.
Oh, he was so good.
God, right? Who would have thought?
Yeah, no, he's just a fabulous actor.
All right, so I think we've probably gone over time, but
okay.
Who cares? You can follow Alex on Twitter, Instagram, on Tumblr. I will link all of those below. You'll see them right under her profile picture. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The Orange. You can follow me on Twitter at Shakiel Mahjouri, Instagram at Shakiel Mahjouri, Facebook at Shakiel Mahjouri Journalism. Have a great day.